Hey everyone, I'm Shouqiao. I'm a PhD student at Columbia Business School. Today I'm going to present our work, a framework for combined transaction posting and pricing for layer 2 blockchains. This is a joint work with Davide Crapis from Ethereum Foundation and Ciamac Moallemi from Columbia University. So in the first part, I will do a brief introduction on the L2s. So let me start by highlighting the significant impact layer 2 blockchains have had on Ethereum scalability. These L2 solutions offload transaction processing from the Ethereum L1 chain, enabling much higher throughput. Major platforms like Arbitrum, Base, and Optimism now process millions of transactions daily and host billions of dollars in assets. So a key development in this space has been the EIP 4844, which introduced blob transactions that allow L2s to post large amounts of data to L1 at reduced cost. This has resulted in lower fees for L2 users, further driving the adoptions. Despite these advances, L2 systems face two critical challenges. First, the cost of posting transactions from L2 to L1 fluctuates due to variable L1 gas fees. This makes it difficult for L2 operators to predict and manage their expenses effectively. Second, even with enhanced capacity, L2 rollups have finite resources and may experience congestion during high demand periods. This necessitates implementing congestion fees to regulate network usage and maintain performance. So several researchers have tackled aspects of these challenges. The most relevant works are the following. Mamagashvili and Felton propose a Q-learning approach to determine optimal posting strategies, modeling the trade-off between waiting for favorable gas prices and incurring delay cost. However, their work doesn't address L2 fee mechanisms or account for user demand dynamics. Baron and Manser develop threshold-based policies for specific cost functions, providing analytical insights into optimal posting schedules. However, their analysis is confined solely to the posting decision and does not examine how user fees might be dynamically set to influence transaction arrivals. Our work differs by providing a unified approach that addresses both posting and pricing simultaneously. And our contributions are threefold. First, we introduce a joint modeling framework that integrates both posting and pricing strategies, capturing the dependencies between queue dynamics, L1 cost, and user behaviors. Second, we derive an optimal threshold posting policy using dynamic programming techniques. This policy guides L2 sequencers in deciding when to post transactions based on queue length and current L1 gas prices. Third, we established theoretical foundations for L2 pricing mechanisms that balance between budget balance and congestion control, proving the existence and uniqueness of optimal fees under certain conditions. Then, I will introduce the optimal posting strategy within our framework. Let's dive into our model. We denote the queue length at time t by qt, which evolves according to this equation. Qt plus 1 equals to Qt minus St plus At. Here, you consider the period T as an L1 epoch. St is the number of transactions posted in period T, and At represents the transaction arrivals. This simple equation captures how the queue grows with new arrivals and shrinks when transactions are posted to L1. We also model the L1 gas price Pt as a mean reverting stochastic process as follows. Here, the mu is the long-term mean gas price, theta controls the rate of mean reversion, sigma is the volatility parameter, and omega t follows the standard normal distribution. This model captures the behavior of gas prices, which tend to fluctuate but revert to a long-term average over time, is particularly appropriate in the context of Ethereum's EIP 1559 updates. The cost incurred at time t is given by this equation, and as you can see, the first term represents a penalty on waiting transactions, while the second term captures the posting cost, where B0 is the fixed cost when the transactions are posted, and B1 scales linearly with the number of posted transactions. Our objective is to minimize the expected cumulative discounted cost. And here, the gamma is a discounted factor from 0 to 1. Our theoretical result is that the optimal posting policy follows a threshold structure. For each gas price PT, there exists a threshold Q star PT such that if the Q length exceeds the threshold, post all transactions. Otherwise, we wait until the next L1 block. This threshold structure simplifies the decision making. Instead of evaluating every possible number of transactions to post, we now only need to make a binary choice, either post everything or post nothing, which reduces the action space from 0, 1 to Qt to just two options, 0 or Qt. This simplification is crucial for compute efficiency. It allows us to compute the optimal policy in about 6 seconds using policy iteration, even across a wide range of Q length and gas price. This makes it practical to deploy the model in near real-time environments, such as roll-up sequencers operating under volatile L1 conditions. The intuition is straightforward. When Q is small, the cost of posting outweighs the delay cost. When the Q is large, the delay cost outweighs the posting cost. Now let's turn to the L2 fee mechanism design. So our fee mechanism has three objectives. The first objective is budget balance, ensuring L2 fees cover expected costs on to L1. The second one is congestion control, regulating transaction arrival rates to manage queue length and prevent excessive congestion when demand spikes. Given these two objectives, we want to maximize our L2 throughput. We assume that the L2 fee is a constant across all L2 blocks within an L1 epoch. We model the actual transactions arrivals ATG follows a Poisson distribution with an arrival rate lambda g, and the arrival rate is a linear function of the L2 phi. Here, lambda 0 is the maximum potential arrival rate when phi is 0, and k captures the sensitivity of arrival rate to phi changes. This linear model simply implies that higher fees reduce transaction volume, and if the fee exceeds lambda 0 over k, no transactions arrive. Then we discuss our two main objectives, budget balance and congestion control. So budget balance is achieved when the total fees collected match the total operational costs. The property related to budget balance condition is that the expected cost decreases as fee increases, while the expected L2 fee revenue follows a parabolic curve because we assume the linear arrival rate. Then we can prove that under the following condition, there exists a unique fee F star that achieves budget balance. And for congestion control, our primary objective is to balance the rate of transaction arrivals with system's capacity to handle them. The congestion control condition expressed as the expected arrival rate matches the system's capacity lambda bar. We have established a theorem that asserts the existence and uniqueness of congestion control fee if lambda bar is inside the interval of lambda 0 over 2 and lambda 0. So the optimal strategy for setting fees G star is set as the maximum of budget balance fee F star and the congestion control fee P star. The rationale behind this strategy is to maximize the throughput under budget balance and congestion control, these two constraints. So in the following, we will incorporate an adaptive fee mechanism which dynamically adjusts fees based on real-time network conditions. This mechanism alternates between focusing on budget balance and congestion control, depending on which aspect is more critical under the current network loads. This adaptivity ensures the system remains robust to fluctuations in both demand and operational costs. Specifically, we will develop a dynamic fee adjustment strategy based two key metrics, the budget balance metric and the congestion control metric. Our mechanism adaptively switches between these metrics based on observed performance. When revenue falls short of costs, we increase the fee. When revenue exceeds costs, we decrease the fee. Similarly, we adjust fees to control congestion when necessary. And we now introduce the budget balance fee update mechanism. The fee is updated dynamically according to the rule shown, adjusting based on the observed budget balance metric denoted as XTFT. This metric represents the cumulative profit or loss accumulated over all layer 1 blockchains between two adjacent, adjacent transaction postings. Specifically, during this interval, transactions continue to arrive and accumulate, but they are not posted to L1. The fee remains constant throughout this interval. The interpretation is straightforward. If XTFT is negative, indicating costs exceed revenues, we decrease the fee. If XTFT is positive, indicating a surplus, we decrease the fee to attract more transactions. So now let's look at the congestion control fee update mechanism. The fee adjustment follows a similar logic to budget balance, but focuses instead on managing network congestion. The key metric here is YTPT, which captures the difference between our target arrival rate and the actual observed arrivals. Again, this summation occurs over all L1 blocks between two consecutive posting events. During this period, the fee remains unchanged and the transactions accumulate but aren't yet posted. The interpretation here is also intuitive. If Y is negative, it indicates the actual arrivals exceed the target. We then increase the fee to reduce incoming traffic. Conversely, if Y is positive, there's a sparse capacity, promoting a reduction in fees to encourage more usage. So to seamlessly integrate these two mechanisms, we introduce an adaptive selection method. We define an indicator variable delta t, specifying which mechanism we are currently using, 1 for budget balance and 0 for congestion control update mechanism. The actual fee is applied denoted by GT, and the mechanism dynamically switches between two objectives. If the current if currently focusing on budget balance update mechanism, but we detect congestion, we switch to the congestion control fee update. If currently managing congestion, but notice that costs exceed revenues, we then shift to the budget balance fee update rule. This adaptive strategy ensures our system always prioritizes most pressing network condition in real time. So to rigorously analyze our adaptive mechanism, we introduce some theoretical relaxations. First, we assume decreasing step size for fee updates, ensuring theoretical convergence. Second, we assume layer 1 gas fees are IID for analytical clarity. Lastly, we aggregate observations over multiple postings, kappa postings to smooth out short-term fluctuations. So our main theoretical result confirms the adaptive mechanism reliable converges to the optimal fees F star and P star. And over the long term, the frequencies of using each update mechanism converge to stable values. And third, increasing the observation window, like increase kappa, reduces sensitivity to switch update mechanisms in an order of O1 over square root of kappa, but could compromise adaptability in dynamic environments. So in practice, choosing observation window kappa involves a trade-off. A smaller kappa, like kappa equals to 1, offers rapid responses to fluctuating network conditions similar to EIP 1559 mechanism. A larger kappa ensures stability by reducing fee volatility, but also reduces robustness. We recommend to set kappa to be 1 by default for highly dynamic conditions, but increasing in more stable environments where volatility is a greater concern. Then we take a look at the simulations. So we conduct the simulations to validate our theoretical insights and assess practical robustness. We evaluated the convergence under ideal conditions with decrease in step size and IID L1 fees. We also tested the robustness under realistic scenarios with constant step size and non-ID L1 fees. Our simulations considered two price generation scenarios. For the IID scenario, fees are drawn from a normal distribution which match the empirical data. For the practical non-IID scenario, fees follow a mean reverting AR1 process. We also explored two step size strategies, the decrease in step size and constant step size. So our results under decreasing step size and IID fees, which is the theoretical scenario, clearly supports the theoretical predictions. Um, Fees closely converge to optimal theoretical levels F star and P star. Frequencies of budget balance and congestion control updates stabilized as expected, confirming the theoretical result. Then, under the more practical conditions with constant step size and non-ID fees, we observed that fees stabilize near optimal values, demonstrate robustness even under realistic market dynamics, and the adaptive mechanism maintains stable selection frequency, highlighting its practical effectiveness of the theoretical result. So in conclusion, we have developed a unified framework integrating transaction posting and dynamic pricing for L2 blockchains. Our approach ensures optimal performance, balancing financial sustainability and congestion control. Empirical results validate its robustness under practical conditions. Looking ahead, potential extensions include multidimensional fee structures, game theoretical analysis, and adapting our framework to specific roll-up technologies. So that's all for this presentation, and thank you very much for your attention.